Got forced out of my place this morning because they're doing some work on the building. It sounds like someone bought a stereo into my room and put on Lou Reed's Metal Machine music and fucking cranked it to 10. And I'm just, which, you know, I could probably listen to that, but this is a little bit more harsh. I'm currently editing a video about a very touchy subject. And I don't know why. I don't know why this one is compared to all the others. It's just a psyop, you know, a regular CIA Mossad job, and a very sloppy one at that. I think it could be why they get so uptight about it, because it was done so badly. It was that one in Connecticut. It was just terrible. It was so fake, like the whole thing. And there's a lot of stuff as I'm editing it, going through it, that I forgot to even bring out. So I figured I would get two birds stoned at once. Leave my house and get out of that sound and go over just some of the things that I forgot about. One of the things that was really crazy is the Batman thing. I'm a, you know, if you've ever seen my place, you know I'm a kind of an idiot for Batman stuff. I have been that way since I was a kid, like a little kid. I've just always collected Batman stuff. So I know a lot about him. And I actually have some engineering plans of Gotham City up there hanging up. And so I don't know the city really well. But I kind of know the main, you know, parts of it. Speaking of which, I got a great 4D puzzle that looks awesome. I just had no room to build it in there. But yeah, so I kind of know the area, you know. But when The Dark Knight Rises came out, they had a psyop associated with that as well. And in the movie, there has one scene where they're showing a map of Gotham, and they have a place over by the docks, which is the name of the school, right? That the future thing will happen at, and it's circled in red, as if to say, this is the next one. And indeed, it was the next one. Pretty interesting. Now this place in Gotham, it only showed up in the movie in some promotional material that they mailed out to people ahead of the movie. They mailed out these I think they were like posters or something of the of a plan of Gotham, the architectural kind of city plans. And it appeared on those, but I've never seen it anywhere else, and it hasn't appeared anywhere since. So it was kind of just done in that time, I suppose, just to let those in the know that everything was ready for it. What got me talking about it to make the last video was over on X. They had a thread about it that I was reading, and after I filmed the thing, I went back and looked at it. A lot more people had posted on it and posted some new information, different information. I'm going to try to recall what it was that I want to talk about while I'm out here. I could take notes, but then I couldn't read them because I'm using my phone. These are my problems, not yours. So, yeah, they just got across the street here. See what's going on. So anyway, one of the things about that thread that is really noticeable is the amount of shills that jumped on it. The amount of glowies. Like for every sensitive thing, like when the guy came out and laughed right before he was supposed to talk about his kid, and then kind of composed himself and got into okay, I have to act now thing. He did this whole thing. the glowies are like source, because they thought they cleaned it all, you know. And then someone would post it, and they'd shut up. And then that happened again, where someone was talking about the guy in the woods that I mentioned in the other video. Those military-looking guys. And the glowies are going, source. And he posted a video from YouTube that talks about, that shows the footage that was just taken from like a TV source. And then they just shut up. And then there was one more thing like that, where they were screaming source, and he puts it up there, and then they don't say anything. Now, if they were regular anons, they would say something, like, fuck you, faggot, or something. They wouldn't let it go with that. They'd be like, oh, it's not good enough. Or, when presented with evidence, like, they stop arguing. That's how you know that they're, you know, feds, basically. Glowies. Yeah, they're all over that thread. I don't understand what it is. Like, I got a lot of shit on Instagram when I was talking about that, doing posts about it, threatening people, telling me where my family works and all this other shit. It was really weird. And I'd block them, and then the same guys would come back with accounts. They'd make new accounts and come at me again. It's really strange, because I'm like, why this one? What is it about this one that they're so protective about? And it was all the same people, the same kind of people from the same group. I'm hesitant to even talk about who they were affiliated with, because it would make me sound fucking mental. I mean, I know a lot of you guys know where I'm coming from, and have some of these experiences too, so you know it's not completely crazy, but it sounds too far-fetched with who these guys are affiliated with. But anyway, after a while, I stopped posting about it, and they started just leaving me alone. And I haven't had problems with them since. But I never had them come at me like I did with with that thing. Although circumcision, I get a lot of shit for it too. They come at me for that too. Certain things, like they have little weird, I don't know what it is, things they're like self-conscious about, or they know this would be really bad. I mean, they were certainly worried about people talking about that PSYOP, because they fake sued one of their assets, Alex Jones, who's their guy. He's you know, COINTELPRO for sure. They fake sued him. These fake families fake sued him for a fake event, and he had to fake pay some ridiculous amount of money, which is not even close to anything you could believe, right? It's like, was it trillions of dollars? It was something like that. It was retarded. And the message is clear: don't talk about this. And in that thread, indeed, a thing the glowies were saying a lot was, you don't want to end up like Alex Jones, and look what happened to Alex Jones. Hope you have the money to pay for this. Hope you have the money to pay for the consequences of you know, it's like, so I don't know what it is about that particular event that they're so fucking crazy about. But I'll ponder that while I look for fucking plastic shit in Ross. I'll be right back. There's a lot of stuff on BitChute where you can see a lot of the things that are being talked about in that thread that are still up. You can still go there and find out what they're talking about. Like when I was seeing the crowds that did the overhead shot where it looked like they were walking, well, they were walking in and out of a building, just to make it look like there's more activity there. They have that video there, they have all the stuff there. So if you're interested in seeing any of it, you can see it all for yourself. Why they're so uptight about that particular incident is a mystery yet to be unraveled, but it will be, because they can't hide everything. It all comes up. It all comes up. It's just in longs a minute ago. Just, you know, sometimes people cashiers and stuff in places. I know most of them longs, but there's some I don't, you know. And it's like it's a bigger thing. It's like when a lot of my life having interactions with people, whether it's like at a store or in an elevator or in a building I'm in, I've always been under the impression that, well, I'm just awkward. So I have these sort of awkward interactions or conversations. Because they'll always start like, oh, someone will say something to me, or they, you know, and then I'll say something, and then they act like, ugh. I'm like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just awkward. But as I've gotten older, I'm starting to discover that it ain't me. It's not me. It's the 95% of these motherfuckers out here. These system assets. That's really what they are. And they may have families, they may have jobs. You can talk to them about like sports scores or all kinds of things, but you're gonna hit a wall. At some point you're gonna hit a wall because they don't have it's not gonna go that deep because they don't have that much memory to each person. The reason they don't is because it takes a lot of energy to run all these fucking robots, you know? And that energy, although it comes from us, we're endless batteries, there's still a bottleneck as far as the distribution of it. That's where they run into the problem. It's the reason they have to do energy management with how they run this place. It's not because of the amount that they have or they don't have. They have an endless amount where what we are is can go forever. But they have a whatever system they're using, whether it be magic or technological or a mix of both things, whatever it is, I don't know. They have a bottleneck there. That's the fault of their system, not of our energy. So they can keep pulling the energy out of us, but distributing it to where they have to distribute it to has limitations, and that's why it uses memory, like just like a video game, you know. That's why if you're not in an area, it's not rendered. My house isn't rendered right now. It's just probably like whatever it looks like when there's nothing there. I don't know, TV static. Now that is that's a concept in theoretical physics that exists already, but they don't have a spiritual aspect to it. They're just like, you know, the hard science boys don't put spiritual aspect in anything. What are these motherfuckers doing? You can't trust anybody here. 95%, man. What is this? See, I don't know what to do. Do I go behind? If I can't go behind. Oh, that's what he's doing. Alright, fucking Jesus Christ. I gotta get away from these fucking motherfuckers. Jesus, you don't let robots drive. Well, they have to because they're all robots. But anyway, that's funny though. I see stuff like that all the time. You know, watching. I like seeing people or by my house. Like they'll pull up to the corner. Someone will be pulling out of their driveway, and then someone else comes rolling up the road, and it's just like error. You see the little circle spinning around over their heads. They don't know what to do. I just stand back and laugh. Because that's another thing about them. They can't work out sort of human things. Like they have limited resources, limited amount of things they can choose from, limited programming. There's only so much they can do. In some situations where it takes that are, I guess, instinctual, or that you have to make up on the fly. Not very good at that. That's why it's hard to walk among them. And sometimes, you know, you'll see it here where someone will just be on my ass, walking right on my ass, and there's no one around because they're on a track. I've laid out the track system before. This is also would be also funny to somebody that's not used to hearing stuff like this. But there's like 3 main tracks, depending on the size of the sidewalk. Like looking at this one, there's 3, like 1, 2, 3, and they won't jump around. They'll get on the track and they'll stay on the track. That's why they'll walk right behind you, or that's why they walk the way they do. And that's how I can always spot like a real person, because I see them kind of moving around. I see it's they're able to make adjustments on the fly. They're not like the wheel doesn't show up, start spinning over their head like, uh-oh. Yeah, so my whole life I was always like, oh, I'm just an awkward. I'm not fucking awkward. It's that these fucking motherfuckers, like, it just happened in the store. There was a guy, right, who was in a self-checkout, which nobody uses, which is too bad because they're much better, I think. You don't have to deal with people. But anyways, this is how a lot of this stuff goes with me and people. I'm not interacting with them at all. He drops his change, so it's rolling on the ground. So he's like, oh, one's getting away from me. And at this point, I'm you know, I'm not going to be rude and just pretend I don't hear him. So I'm like, oh yeah, you know, that happens to me a lot. You know, that's usually me. And he looks at me like he didn't know what I was talking about. And then I just didn't say anything. That's how it always is. You know, I'll go to a, you know, talking to someone at a store at a register or something. They'll be like, oh, it's, you know, it's really raining out there pretty hard. And then I'll say something that I think is funny, like, yeah, I haven't seen rain since, whatever, some stupid joke. And they'll look at me like I'm fucking, like I just insulted them or something. It's like, it's not me. It's these motherfuckers. They're not like you. They're like, they're system assets, rocks, trees, people. They have limited programming where they can talk about certain things, but it's not that deep. And there's certain things they're not allowed to talk about. I'll instantly get, you know, will ridicule you if you bring it up. And they're just all over the world. I love when, like, you'll see this happen sometimes on X. I go on there to put the, just to run a little blurb for the new videos when they go up. I don't have a lot of followers, but Ethan Van Sciver follows me, which is kind of cool. He's about the biggest Guns N' Roses guitarist, Bumblefoot. I got a couple pseudo celebrity followers, but I go over there and like some of the conversations that these fucking robots having is unbelievable. Like, it really gives you an insight into what's going on in their or what's not going on in their minds. You know, there's always that someone will bring up the inner monologue thing, and like, I can't believe these psychos have voices telling them what to do. Can you imagine that? A voice in your head telling you what to... Like, what it shows there is they have no idea what an inner monologue is. You have no idea what you're talking about. And it's like, they're fucking robots. If you don't have an inner monologue, you can't discuss things, you know, in your mind to work it out. You also can't picture things. Like, you know, someone will put the Apple test up. And this even happens on like on 4chan and shit. And people, like, you see a cartoon in your head, and they'll like try to make it funny, because the first wave of defense for the system assets is ridicule. You know, they'll make fun of you first. You know, the next wave is anger, and the third wave is dismissal. They marginalize you. So if you're having, if you think you're awkward, chances are you're not. It's that most of the people you're dealing with every day, and we're talking 95% is what the number the schizo community is kind of settled on at this point. That's a relatively new number, but they were tying it back to some ancient cultures, ideas, and holy books, saying around that same number too. There's something in the Bible that alludes to that. It makes sense though, as this place was a place of a testing, a place of learning, a school at one point. You have to have other people here to help you go through these tests, whatever they may be, learning how to grieve, learning how to deal with something. But they can't be divine beings like you, because none of the tests would work. So they're here to help you learn to be a better divine progeny. What's he beeping at? Nothing. People are stupid. Well, stupidity is a huge problem here. But they don't understand, like, when people are supposed to walk. So they'll get mad. They're like, hey, I'm trying to get through here. It's like, well, the fucking dude. I don't know, whatever, I can't get into that. That's an endless fucking topic of discussion there. I think it's the heat, though. I don't think it's anybody's fault. It's just hot. You know, like I was saying earlier, what drove me out of the house was construction work on the house. But the good thing is no one works too long. Like, it takes forever to get anything done here, especially construction style jobs. They'll show up in the morning, walk around, go to lunch, and they'll work for a couple hours. And then the rest of the day, and then they just leave early. I think it's the heat. I think it's heat because it's not that it's super hot all the time. I mean, we have trade winds and stuff. It's just the consistency of it. Like, it's just around the same kind of heat every day. And if you grow up in it, you spend your whole life in it, your brain's probably fucking fried. So it's like, you know, you see the IQ map for the nation, and you're like, you look at Hawaii, it's the lowest in the nation. You're like, holy fuck. I don't think it's that people are stupid. I think the brains are just cooked. You know, it's a beautiful place, but it's fucking hot. So yeah, don't realize most people around you are system assets. So we talked about the event that cannot be named. The refresher that you're fucking surrounded by robots, but always treat them nice. You got to treat them the way you want to be treated. You know, always. Because if there still is a test going on here, as I say a lot, if there is some kind of thing you're still being tested on, or you're still being seen doing, and you are being seen, you know, everything you do is seen. Everything you do is seen because you see it. And if you see it, I see it. Because we're part of the same fucking thing. We're all the same consciousness. But, yeah, it's like, what I say in here? Fucking, my alarm bells just started going, the don't relax thing came out. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, because that guy's, he's kind of out there. He walks around the neighborhood. And it's one of the cases where it's like, this motherfucker is going to attack me for no reason. You never know. So I had to divert all system resources to security right there for a minute. And he's a homeless dude too. He's not even just like a regular dude. Yeah, black homeless guys are the fucking, you gotta be the most worried about. Because if they're homeless and they're black, that means they've fallen through every social safety net possible. Because most homeless people you see are white dudes. You know, like anywhere from, I don't know, well, they're gonna be young too. But a lot of them my age, like 40s, 50s. Ones that didn't plan for the future all that well. And with the way things are now, there's just so many of them. So anyone that's around my age carrying a backpack is usually people just assume is homeless. That's why I don't carry a backpack. I carry that demon satchel sometimes with all my demon shit in it, but usually at night. And that's more like a satchel, which is like a man purse. So, but the yeah, you gotta treat them right. You have to treat them, because if there is a test here, and there still might be, it's about your behavior. It's not a pass or fail thing. You can't beat the beast. There's nothing you do to beat the beast. So failure and pass, that doesn't mean anything. It's your behavior during the test. It's how you treat the people around you. And that includes the fucking soulless robots that you're surrounded by. You know, because that's the burden, man. That's the glorious burden. Speaking of glorious burden, fucking poor John Schaefer's still in jail for carrying, taking bear spray to the Capitol. That's so funny. It's funny what, like, you look at anything now, and it's called a dark day, the day of insurrection, when the government was almost overthrown. So you're telling me, right? Our many years constitutional republic was almost overthrown by Ice Earth guitarist John Schaefer and a can of bear spray. I guess we're a pretty weak republic. Shit. I mean, these other countries that want to fucking overthrow us, just send a really wailing guitarist with a can of something, and you make the history books. This is John Schaefer's view right now. When he should be writing more badass albums, he's stuck doing this. What a ridiculous place we live in. Anyway, till next time, thanks for dropping by. As always, I really appreciate it. Especially talking to you guys in the comments. I learned a lot of stuff. Some of you guys are great. Some of you guys leave stuff that is so good that I get like freaked out about responding. Like, I gotta write something that is kind of meaningful. And I always feel like I blow it. But whatever, I still try. God loves a try. Till next time, don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.